And I'd like to address that question first by talking about the 3 different causes for behavioral problems in children. And I think this will give you a greater understanding of ADHD as we're trying to figure it out and what it looks like. So let me tell you about those 3 causes of problems from God's Word that we see. One is that there are biological challenges. These are things like ADHD or autism or any kind of biological thing that's going on inside of a person. It could be that a person's hungry and hasn't eaten, and so they act out, or they're tired and so they're having trouble with situations. So just know that there are biological causes that must be considered as we're trying to work with children to help them make changes in their lives. Can we bring about change in children? Yes. One cause that we need to look at is biological. The second cause has to do with reactive. I call them reactive. These are patterns. These reactive patterns take place because of one instance or a group of instances or habits over a long period of time. So many of our children develop these habits in their lives, and we're trying to help them to be able to work with them. For example, reactive attachment disorder is a challenge we often see in adopted kids. It's a patterned response because of some challenges they have through the adoption process. Or post-traumatic stress, we know, is a problem where someone experiences a trigger now that somehow reminds them, or they experienced something in the past. It could be once or over a period of time. So if you got parents who yell at each other all the time, then that can create some post-traumatic stress for a child. And so their children develop patterns of reacting to that in their lives. So these patterns of reacting could be arguing with mom disorder, or it could be whining when I don't get my way. All of these become these type of challenges that children face because of reactive patterns in their lives. The third kind of a challenge has to do with spiritual issues. I'm not talking specifically about sin, but obviously a person who's sinning has a behavior problem. I'm talking about the spirit of a person. This is where their identity is. This is where their self-concept is. This is what they believe about themselves. This is when God takes over a person's life and a person becomes a Christian, their identity changes. That's part of the spirit within a person. And so a person, or a young person, can start believing that I'm an angry person, and that's a spiritual issue having to do with their self-concept. So we want to be able to address that. Now, all 3 of these weave themselves together, and so we must be aware of that, because let's just take the child with ADHD, for example. And this child is